Hi there, Stefanie Hammond, head nerd, sales and marketing here at Enable. I thought for this month's video, what I would do was address a common question that I seem to get from MSPs as they're working on developing their new cybersecurity programs that they're launching for their MSP. And the question that I typically get sent in is something around, these lines. I'm working on standardizing my customers into my new advanced security program, but honestly, some of them are shocked at my new price and they're telling me that they don't want to be enrolled in it. So if my customers aren't agreeing to be enrolled in my new program, should I just get them to sign like a limited liability waiver or release of liability form with me in order to protect my MSP? So my short answer on this, no. I don't agree with getting customers to sign really any form of cybersecurity or limited liability or release of liability waiver. And I say this because even if you got your customer to sign a waiver like this, your MSP could still be subject to reputational damage. You could still be making headlines regardless, and you can still become known as that MSP that allowed their customers to fall victim to a cyber attack. Because my feeling on this is, even if you got them to sign a waiver with you in the heat of the moment, when they do get breached, your customer will likely conveniently forget that they ever signed that form with you. Because when they do get breached, and they will, because if they don't have all of your recommended security services in place, it means that there's going to now be holes in their protection levels. And when you allow holes in a customer's protection levels, you've just made it a whole lot easier for those bad guys to get in. As a result, they are going to get breached. And as a result, your customers are likely going to be angry and they're looking to probably lay blame anyways on you. They could very easily turn on you and say, look, why didn't you insist that we be part of this security program? Why didn't you mandate this for us? You're the expert. We aren't. You know more about this than we do. Charles Weaver, founder of MSP Alliance, he's done a number of different podcasts with Enable over the last half of the year. He said on a recent podcast with Chris Massey a couple of months back, you can no longer continue to absolve your customers from their poor decisions. So if a customer has told you that your services are too expensive and they're not going to sign, then instead of having them sign a limited liability or release a liability waiver, I would rather see MSPs walk away from the deal, because that's the only real way that you can truly protect your MSP from both financial liability and reputational damage. And so what I would do is I would, really respond back to your customer and say, look, Mr. Customer, I respect your concerns. Why don't I refer you to another MSP then? One who doesn't enforce the same set of cybersecurity standards that I do, because this is a program that I recommend to all of my customers who are in the same line of business, the same industry as yours. Ultimately, my job is to protect you, your business, your livelihood, the livelihood of your employees. And if you won't allow me to do my job correctly, then unfortunately, I can't be your MSP. But I would happily refer you over to someone else. And so by telling them that you will happily refer them over to someone else, you're standing your ground and you're conveying how seriously your MSP takes its cybersecurity responsibilities with respect to your customers. But by capitulating and having your customer just sign off on a waiver, this is where I feel you're sending mixed messages, because on one hand, you're telling them that security is important and they need to be enrolled in your advanced cybersecurity program. Well, on the other hand, you're telling them, don't worry if you don't 100% agree with me, just sign this waiver and we'll just continue to support you anyways. I would rather see MSPs normalize the disqualification of prospects who don't take their security responsibilities or accountabilities seriously, rather than have them sign any sort of form. And I would rather, see them walk away from those customers that are really going to end up subjecting their MSP to unnecessary risk and liability. At the end of the day, churn is not a bad word, when you're focusing on building a better book of business for your MSP, because it's through building this quality book of business that's ultimately going to bring higher business valuations for yourself. And that's just going to make your MSP better off in the long run.